Your bed is smaller than a felon's bunk in a maximum security prison. You have exactly 20 inches of air between your face and the steel rack above you. If you wake up from a nightmare and sit up too fast, you smash your head on solid metal, leaving a scar that sailors call a rack bite. You are sleeping in a windowless room with 80 other people, breathing air that smells of jet fuel, unwashed laundry, and the stale breath of strangers. And when you finally crawl out of your coffin, you have to fight your way into a bathroom where the sewage system might be flooding the floor with toxic waste. You are not an inmate. You are a volunteer sailor on the most advanced warship in human history. The world sees the USS Gerald R. Ford as a $13 billion symbol of American might. But inside the hull, it is a high-tech slum. The toilets break so often that the Navy spends $400,000 just to flush the pipes with acid. The showers are a war zone of fungus and cold water. The privacy is non-existent. Today, we are tearing up the glossy recruitment brochures to show you the claustrophobic, smelly, and expensive nightmare of keeping a floating city alive. From the coffin lockers to the plumbing disasters, this is the brutal reality that no movie ever shows you. Let's start with the most basic human need, food. Imagine running a restaurant that serves 17,000 meals a day, but you can't go to the grocery store. Your kitchen is moving because of the waves, and your customers are some of the most stressed out people on the planet. On the USS Harry S. Truman, Chief Petty Officer Naomi Goodwin faced this challenge every single day. She commanded a small army of 114 culinary specialists. Their mission: feed 5,500 people before they starve or mutiny. The scale of this operation is hard to comprehend. In a single day, the ship consumes 1,600 pounds of chicken, 160 gallons of milk, 30 cases of cereal, 350 pounds of lettuce, and 20,000 cups of coffee. Coffee is the lifeblood of the Navy. It is often described as jet fuel by the crew: thick, bitter, and absolutely necessary. If the coffee machines break, the ship effectively stops. The culinary specialists have to brew this black sludge 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, often dealing with water that tastes faintly of the desalination chemicals. But where do they cook it? The ship has 7 galleys, but they are cramped, hot, and loud. The ovens are industrial-sized, but they break. The mixers are massive, but they jam, and everything has to be secured for sea. If the ship takes a hard turn, a vat of boiling soup can become a lethal weapon. The cooks have to be acrobats as much as chefs, balancing trays while the deck pitches 20 degrees. The logistics of getting the food to the ship are even crazier. Every 7 to 10 days, a supply ship pulls alongside the carrier. Helicopters lift pallets of food from one moving deck to another. It is a dangerous ballet. If a pallet drops, that's $50,000 of steak gone in a second. Once the food hits the deck, thousands of sailors form a human chain to move it into the freezers deep in the hull. This is all hands work. Officers, enlisted, pilots, everyone carries boxes. The Navy knows that food is morale. That's why they have a 21-day rotating menu. They don't want you to get bored. Taco Tuesday is a sacred event. The line for tacos can stretch down the hallway and around the corner. Mongolian Grill Night is a huge hit, offering a taste of something different than the usual cafeteria slop. And if you have a birthday at sea, you get a special meal: steak and lobster, real tablecloths. It is a tiny slice of civilization in a world of steel. But the most famous meal on the ship is Midrat's midnight rations. The ship operates 24 hours a day, so there is always a shift coming off duty at 2 a.m. Midrat's is often leftovers, lasagna from dinner, or maybe breakfast burritos. Sometimes it is hamsters, deep-fried chicken, cordon bleu squares that taste like cardboard but save your life when you are starving. And then there is bug juice, the sugary, neon-colored drink that is served when the milk runs out. It stains your mouth red or green, and it is the flavor of deployment for thousands of sailors. Now let's talk about where you sleep, or rather where you try to sleep. The berthing compartments on a carrier are a study in claustrophobia. Imagine a room the size of a small classroom, now put 60 to 100 people in it. The beds or racks are stacked 3 high. Each rack is 72 inches long and 26 inches wide. That is smaller than a standard prison cell bed. If you are in the middle or bottom rack, you have about 20 inches of vertical space. You cannot sit up. You cannot kneel, you have to slide in horizontally like a torpedo. This is your only private space on the ship. You have a small curtain that separates you from the rest of the crew. Behind that curtain you can read, sleep, or cry. Under your mattress is a coffin locker, a storage bin about 4 inches deep. This is where you keep your entire life, your civilian clothes, your toiletries, your letters from home. You also have a small upright locker, but it is barely big enough for your uniforms. The environment in berthing is intense. It smells of feet, diesel, fuel, and laundry detergent. The noise is constant. The ship hums. People are always walking through, banging into lockers, talking. If you are sleeping under the flight deck, every time a jet lands, it sounds like a car crash on the roof. The arresting gear wires run right over your head. You learn to sleep through earthquakes. There is zero privacy. You change your clothes in the aisle while 50 other people walk by. You learn to be efficient. You learn to be quiet. You learn to respect the rack curtain rule. If the curtain is closed, do not disturb unless the ship is sinking. And then there is the berthing cleaner, a junior sailor assigned to sweep and mop the room. If they fail inspection, the entire division suffers. This creates a self-policing environment where messy sailors are socially ostracized. But the real nightmare aboard an aircraft carrier isn't the sleeping arrangements, it's the bathroom. In the Navy, the bathroom is called the head. And on a carrier, the head is a war zone. Imagine sharing a bathroom with 80 other people. There might be 4 toilets and 4 showers for that entire group. The line in the morning is brutal. You learn to wake up 30 minutes early just to get a spot. The showers are small metal stalls with plastic curtains. The water pressure is hit or miss. And because fresh water is precious, you take Navy showers. Water on to get wet, water off, soap up, water on to rinse, water off, total time 2 minutes. If you take a Hollywood shower and let the water run, your shipmates will hate you. You are stealing their water. But the toilets are the real problem. The sewage system on a carrier is a complex vacuum system called CHT, collection, holding, and transfer. It relies on suction to move waste through miles of pipes. The problem is sailors flush things they shouldn't: baby wipes, uniform parts, trash. When the system clogs, it backs up. And when it backs up, it doesn't just stop flushing, it can reverse. Sewage can flood the bathroom floors. It smells horrific. The newest carrier, the $13 billion USS Gerald R. has faced a crisis with its toilets. The Navy decided to use a commercial airliner-style vacuum system to save weight. It was a disaster. The pipes are too narrow. To unclog them, the Navy has to flush the system with acid. Each acid flush costs $400,000. That is nearly $500,000 just to unclog the toilets. When the toilets fail, sailors have to improvise. They use bottles. They use industrial sinks. It is a humiliation that doesn't make it into the recruitment brochures. And what happens if you get sick? Welcome to the blue tile area, the medical department. On a ship with 5,000 people living in close quarters, disease spreads like wildfire. They call it the ship crud. It is a respiratory virus that hits everyone about 2 weeks into the deployment. You are coughing, you have a fever, your body aches, but you can't just call in sick. You have to go to sick call at 600. The line is long. The corpsmen are skeptical. Unless you are dying, the prescription is almost always the same: Motrin and fresh socks. Drink water, get back to work. If you are truly contagious, you might be quarantined in a specific berthing area, which is like being in solitary confinement. The fear of a norovirus outbreak is constant. If someone vomits in the mess hall, the bleach team is deployed instantly to sanitize everything, because a stomach bug can take a warship out of the fight faster than a torpedo. Let's talk about the economy of the ship. Inside this steel hull, a black market thrives. Not for drugs or weapons, but for the luxuries of life. The ship's store or G-Dunk sells snacks, energy drinks, and tobacco, but they run out. When they do, the price of a can of dip or a pack of cigarettes skyrockets. A sailor who stocked up on energy drinks before leaving port can make a fortune. Trading is rampant. A haircut from a buddy who actually knows how to use clippers is worth 2 packs of ramen. A hard drive filled with the latest movies downloaded before deployment is gold. The vending machine mafia controls the good snacks. It is a microcosm of capitalism driven by scarcity and boredom. And then there is the hierarchy of life on board. Not everyone suffers equally. The officers live in staterooms. They sleep 2 or 4 to a room, they have desks, they have a sink in the room. It is still cramped, but it is a palace compared to the enlisted berthing. The wardroom is where the officers eat. They have stewards who serve them. They have tablecloths. They pay for better food out of their own pockets. The chief's mess is for the senior enlisted leaders. It is known for having the best coffee and the most comfortable chairs on the ship. It is a sanctuary where the chiefs can relax away from the junior sailors. This class system is ancient. It reinforces the chain of command, but it also creates tension. When the enlisted sailors are eating mystery meat and the officers are eating roast beef, you feel the divide. But there is a place worse than the berthing. There is a place you never want to see, the brig. Yes, the aircraft carrier has a jail. It is an austere collection of cells guarded by the master-at-arms force. If you get in a fight, if you are caught sleeping on watch, or if you disrespect an officer, you go to the brig. You are stripped of your rank. You are put on a diet of bread and water. Though this is rare now, restricted rations are still a punishment tool. You sit in a cell while the ship rocks, with nothing to do but think about your mistake. It is the ultimate loss of freedom in a place where freedom is already scarce. Despite the cramped bunks, the failing toilets, the exhaustion, and the threat of the brig, the crew makes it work. Why? Because of the human spirit, you bond with your shipmates in a way that civilians can't understand. You are all in the same steel box. You are all miserable together. You develop a dark sense of humor. You roast each other. You play pranks. You share care packages from home. Mail call is the most emotional time on the ship. When the COD plane lands, everything stops. Sailors gather to see if they got a package. A box of cookies from mom, a letter from a girlfriend, a new video game. If you get mail, you are the happiest person on the ship. If you don't, you are crushed. The berthing compartment becomes a community. You look out for each other. If someone is having a bad day, you notice. If someone gets a Dear John letter, you support them. The lounge areas are tiny spaces with a TV and maybe a video game console. On a Sunday afternoon, 20 people will squeeze in to watch a football game via satellite. For a few hours, you forget you are in the middle of the ocean. Technology helps. On older ships, you are cut off from the world. On modern carriers, there is Wi-Fi. Sometimes it is slow. It is monitored, but you can send an email. You can check Facebook. But this connectivity is a double-edged sword. Seeing your friends back home partying while you are cleaning a toilet in the middle of the Pacific can be depressing. And when River City is set, a communications blackout, the internet dies, you are cut off. You don't know if your family is okay. You just have to do your job. This usually happens when the ship is conducting sensitive operations or intelligence suggests a threat. The silence is deafening. There is one sanctuary on the ship for those who partake, the smoke pit, usually located on a sponson, a platform hanging off the side of the hull. This is the social club of the ship. Officers and enlisted stand side by side here. In the swirling wind and engine exhaust, sailors smoke cigarettes and vape, staring out at the infinite ocean. It is the only place you can see the sky without working. It is where the rumors start. It is where the real news of the ship is broadcast. I heard we are extending deployment. I heard the captain is mad. The smoke pit is the grapevine, the therapy session, and the escape valve all in one. The USS Gerald R. Ford represents the future, but it also shows the limits of technology. It has gender-neutral bathrooms, which allows for more flexibility in crew assignments. Women now make up about 18% of the Navy, and the ship was built to accommodate them better than any before. It eliminated urinals, which sparked a debate among naval architects. Toilets take up more space, but they offer more privacy. It has better air conditioning. The gyms are nicer. But at the end of the day, you are still stacking people on top of each other. You are still asking them to work 18-hour days. You are still asking them to live in a machine. The maintenance of the ship is a constant battle against rust and grime. Every day there is sweepers. All hands grab a broom or a rag and clean the ship for an hour. Every week there is field day, a deep clean where you scrub the walls, the floors, the overheads. If the ship isn't clean, it isn't safe. Dust can cause fires. Grease can cause slips. The pride the sailors take in their ship is real. They might complain about it, but they will defend it. This is my ship. The diversity of the crew is staggering. You have kids from cornfields in Iowa, inner cities in Detroit, and suburbs in California. You have immigrants who join to get citizenship, the green card warriors who serve a country that isn't fully theirs yet. You have people with master's degrees and people with GEDs. They are all thrown together in this pressure cooker. They have to learn to get along. Racism and prejudice die quickly in a foxhole, or in this case, a berthing compartment. You judge a person by how hard they work, not by where they come from. If you are lazy, you are worthless. If you are a hard worker, you are family. Captain Craig Sikola, who commanded the USS Nimitz, said it best. We operated 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The ship never sleeps. While you are eating dinner, someone is launching a jet. While you are sleeping, someone is monitoring the nuclear reactor. While you are showering, someone is steering the ship. It is a relay race that never ends. The mental toll is significant. Suicide prevention is a major focus. The ship has chaplains, psychologists, and resilience counselors. They roam the decks, checking on the crew, but the stigma of asking for help is still there. Many sailors suffer in silence, counting the days until RTS return to station. They mark X's on a calendar taped to the inside of their rack. 180 days, 179 days, 178 days. So why do they do it? Why sign up for this life? Some do it for college money. The GI Bill is a ticket to a debt-free education. Some do it to see the world, even if seeing the world mostly means seeing gray water and foreign ports for 3 days at a time. Some do it because their father did it, following a family tradition of service. But once they are there, they stay for the person in the bunk next to them. They stay because they know that without them, the jet doesn't launch. Without them, the ship doesn't move. Without them, the mission fails. The next time you see an aircraft carrier, don't just think about the bombs and the planes. Think about the 19-year-old kid scrubbing a tray in the scullery, his hands raw from the hot water. Think about the mechanic sleeping in a coffin locker, dreaming of a real bed. Think about the cook cracking thousands of eggs at 4 a.m. while the ship pitches in a storm. They are the engine of American power. They are the ones who make the steel giant come alive. This is the reality of the floating city. It is uncomfortable. It is smelly. It is exhausting. But it is also a place of incredible resilience. It is a place where ordinary people do extraordinary things every single day, fueled by powdered eggs, terrible coffee, and the knowledge that they are part of something bigger than themselves. They are the silent professionals who hold the line. If this deep dive into the gritty reality of life at sea opened your eyes, you need to do 3 things right now. First, smash that like button. It helps us feed the algorithm and tells YouTube that real, unfiltered military stories matter. Second, subscribe and turn on notifications so you're the first to see our next investigation. And finally, I have a question for you. We talked about the coffin lockers, the acid-flushed toilets, the 18-hour days, and the isolation. For a tax-free bonus and the chance to serve your country, could you survive 6 months living in these conditions? Or would you crack after a week? Tell me in the comments below. I could do it or get me off that ship. I read every single comment. If you think the claustrophobia on a carrier is bad, wait until you see what happens when the ship sinks on purpose. Click the video on your screen right now to enter the world of nuclear submarines. Imagine living underwater for 90 days without seeing the sun, sleeping next to a torpedo, and breathing recycled air that smells like chemicals. It makes the aircraft carrier look like a luxury hotel. Click it, and I'll see you there.